this way, I'm very happy now to pass over to Professor Yunus, who talks about social business, the social conscience-driven business, a model who is Professor Yunus working on his whole life, the big sharing, open source, and wherever and would like to learn it, it's possible to learn. And from the very beginning, when I traveled and start to listen to Professor Yunus, he always say, every one of us can be the change what he likes to be. Every one of us is an entrepreneur, and every one of us can start today to change the system. In this way, Professor Yunus, we are really curious to listen to you. And as always, we try, even in this time, to do it with joy, because we still have a license of joy, even we are in a disaster mode like now, if we want to come out of a disaster. Up to you, Professor Yunus, for the next lesson.
Thank you. Thank you, Hans. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Delighted to be back again. I hope this is useful. And listening to Hans, I thought I'll be sharing some of the experiences that I have gone through dealing with the system. And the best part of my journey in dealing with the system, I guess, would be the very, very early days of what led to creation of Grameen Bank and all the other things that followed after Grameen Bank. That gives a clearer picture what I felt and how I responded to the situation exactly, and what it meant at that time, and what it means now. Is it different than what it was at the early stage of Grameen Bank and microcredit and all the things that happened since then? It's nearly 45 years now with all the work that we have done. And I have been there with about 50 years now. The total arrival at the university as a teacher coming from the US, that was the beginning. And full of enthusiasm, that's the point, full of enthusiasm. I know what I can do because I have learned about it in the US university. I taught there in the US university. So all there is to know about development economics, how to do the things for improving the life of the people. So that you have a kind of ego that you carry with you, that you have all the answers. Then I go to the other extreme where everything was falling apart. And country was at the midst of a famine right there in the country after the liberation war, after we began our journey with the devastated economy, devastated country. People are trying to just settle down, start their life. That's the time famine took place. And that famine killed lots of people. And there you are in the university teaching young people the economics. And you bring all the elegant theories of economics to the young people and feel excited about it. But your excitement gradually start disappearing. You say something in the classroom, but you see the reality outside the classroom is so different. People are dying. You see them. It's not something in the book. You see them on the street. Dead bodies lying on the street. And for simple reason, they didn't have enough to eat. And that's the only thing. It's not a disease. It's not somebody came and shot them and killed them. It's not like that. Simply you didn't have enough food to eat. And that shook you up, that it could be that bad. You didn't imagine that an economy can collapse like that. So I was blaming myself that I have not enough knowledge to be of help to them. So here I am, an extreme form of the problem, but I have no way how I can help them. So I blame that I learned something which is meaningless, worthless. The economics that I spent life in learning didn't have any answer. So I thought I would spend my time totally uselessly. And when time came to use it, it has no benefit, no result. So I was kind of in anguish that I have wasted my time. I learned something which is totally useless, made me useless. So I started feeling that I'm totally useless. I have no use for anybody. So after a couple of months of feeling that strong sense of uselessness, gradually I was trying to recover myself. that maybe I should not look back what I learned, which is wrong things that I have learned, which is no use. Why don't you start looking at people? See if I can make myself useful to a single person, not with any knowledge, but just to react to whatever problem they have. And I started going to the village next door to the campus. It's just attached to the campus. It's a real life century-old village. People are living in a very precarious situation, and same kind of problem of famine is lurking every place. So I wanted to see if I can make myself useful even for a single day to make them happen, even for one person. So that was the beginning. And I started seeing things in a completely different way, as they are, not bringing my way of seeing things. Like I'm trying to regaining my own eyesight. I didn't have any eyesight. I'm a blind person with no eyesight, begin that. And then gradually getting some sight. And I reflected it later on as saying that this village became my university. I started learning from the 0 point. The process that I was going through put me in a tabula rasa, that I started at 0 point. I'm not bringing any baggage from outside, from my back, from my history. So that gave me a fresh look, a way to see that. And after a while, I reflected that, look, I went to the university, and I thought I gained some knowledge, and that gave me the bird's eye view. I can see things as the birds fly. You can see a lot of things, but see them in a very hazy way. But today in a village, I'm learning the bird's eye view. I see, not bird's eye view, but worm's eye view. I see very closely, I see very clearly. I don't see much, but whatever I see is very clear. And this is real. This is something that I can handle, I can see, I can make it touch, I can touch it, I can see, change it, and so on. So that is the courage that came, being close, getting the worm's eye view, and forget about the bird's eye view. That bird's eye view makes confusing, imagine things rather than seeing it the reality, and so on. So that is something which I learned that as you come close to the reality, then things become simpler. And in looking back, what I learned, I would say that I came to the conclusion, the reality is very simple. But we, with our kind of feeling of being a knowledgeable person, being you have all the knowledge in your hand, your eyes are actually made up. You see things in your own way. You don't see the reality, because you bring your old kind of feelings, visions with you, which blurs the seeing the reality. You see things in a complicated way because you learn to do things in a complicated way. You think in a complicated way. But the reality is a simple thing. If you come with a clean eyes, with open eyes, without any baggage packed into your eyes, you see things, you can see the solution right there. I learned that the problem and the solution stay together. These are not separate things. The one side is the problem, the other side is the solution. It's packed together. It's a question of untying this from each other and see how to make the solutions happen. If you come close to it, it happens. Because why things become complicated in reality, or the way we think in a complicated way? I said the complication comes because it's a composite of lots and lots of simple things, and you want to see them all in one package. Then it looks complicated. If you go back, sort them out, you go to the basics, you see the simple thing. Then it becomes very easy. It is as easy that any human being can touch it, feel it, find the solutions. So this is how I started learning things in my own way, doing things in my own way. And when I started lending money, I was not coming with my preconceived ideas about how pension is done. I started doing how people like to have. And in the process, what I created the banking system, which became the opposite of the existing banking system. In the existing banking system, they go to the rich. I actually went to the poor. And in the existing banking system, they go to the men, I go to women. They go to city, I go to the village. They want collateral. I said, forget about collateral. The collateral is a barrier. You created it for artificial protection for yourself. You don't need that protection, but you felt protected because your knowledge, your ideas were something which you disbelieve in human ability, and you cannot trust people. So I brought conventional banking through a way trust. I brought the trust back into the banking system. It's all based on trust. We lend out billions of dollars without any papers, with any lawyers, and so on and so forth. So this is the reverse of the thing that banking system does. Then it does the thing which banking system cannot do. So if you want to do something which is not being done, think in an opposite way. Then you can do that, because otherwise you make things go in the wrong direction. So you start learning to do things really close. Don't try to start with a big project, big thing. Start with a simple thing, one person at a time, and see how it fits. Make sure it fits into the person. Don't try to generalize it right away. You go piece by piece, then you see the general element emerging into the system and so on. That's how Grameen system works. And the reverse system, reversal of the system, seeing the reality in the reverse way. Today, even after all these years, I have the same lessons coming back again and again. And now we are talking about how the world is going to be going in a suicidal path. All the theoretical things that we created for ourselves, all the theories, all the knowledge that we have created, the system we created, is a wrong thing. And I have been talking about it. I say poverty is not created by the poor people. Poverty is created by the system that we built. So poverty will disappear once we redesign the system to make it happen, to fit the people so that they can take them out of the poverty they are in. And poverty should be put in the museum. There's no reason why there should be poverty in any civilized society, in any human community. There should be something called poverty. So we should end that and put it in the museum so that it never comes, and the future generations can see what is this like. An extension of this, and I will conclude here by saying how this same lesson coming from 50 years back, gradually into it, the same lesson now, I said this whole system that we are going through now is pushing us into the suicidal path. By global warming, by wealth concentration, by artificial intelligence and creation of massive unemployment because of artificial intelligence. This is just a suicidal path. We don't have much time on this planet. So the current civilization that we are going through is a civilization which is going to destroy us. So I keep telling that before the civilization that we are in destroys us, old civilization which we have destroys us, we have to build a new civilization. New civilization to undo everything that we have done and to build a civilization which will be taking us to a new life and a new planet and a safe planet to be shared by everybody else, and achieving a planet, a society, a whole world, a 3-0 world. And I say 3-0 because 1 0 is a zero net carbon emission or zero global warming. Second 0 is a zero wealth concentration. And third 0 is zero unemployment. So this is the world we can do. We can create this world with abandoning the present civilization and creating a new civilization. That's our task, to do that. And until we do that, we'll keep on approaching the final line of our existence on this planet. Before it happens, let's change it, create that new civilization. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Yunus, for your, it's always a pleasure to hear your voice and all the amazing emotions. We have some questions. We already received some questions upon registration. And one question that came out is really, how did you not give up, in front of so many challenges and everything you have been through with the Grameen Bank? What made you not give up? Where did you find the energy?
I didn't give up because problem didn't disappear. That's very simple. Because my focus is on the problem. So I don't care what others are saying. Problem exists, so I exist, so that I can solve the problem. So no matter what they say, they're saying from their blurred eyes, their blind eyes. So I thought they are absorbed in the old ideas and old way of thinking and seeing things in a different way. So I said, I'm not party to that. I'm seeing it in a very clear way. It exists, and in an extreme form. Luckily for me, sorry to say that, it was extreme situation of life and death, hunger, and a very instantaneous situation that you see. It's not something you dig out after a long trial. It's right in front of you, and you cannot walk away from it. So there's no way I can do that. I cannot walk away from that. So irrespective of what others will be saying, it's impossible, it cannot be done. I said, it has to be done. There is no other alternative for that.
Yeah, and there's another question. So how can we change the system to eradicate poverty, where else we don't have the power and influence to change the system?
I will just try to mention that. I said the one way to do, the first concrete way to do that is to change the system which created the poverty. And I was saying that my knowledge, my conclusion was, poverty is not created by the people. So when we talk about poverty, elimination of poverty, ending poverty, we always look to the poor people. Go to them, give them education, give them health, give them this, give them that. I said, that doesn't solve the problem. You're busy with as if somebody, a person is responsible for his or her own poverty. It's not. Is there something imposed from outside? No matter what you do with that, system will come and push it back into poverty, even if you pull them out individually, but the system comes and buries him or her into poverty again. So until you create that new system, which will bring people out of poverty and keep them there, because the system is not contributing to the poverty. So that's the system I'm trying to look for, how the system is creating poverty. And one of the first question that I answered in the first question, answering that question was, poverty, major contributor of creating poverty is the banking system. And I was focusing on the banking system, how to bring that finance to them. Then later on, as you continued, I came in a bigger idea. I said, all human beings are looked at as a potential job seeker or potential person to carry on a job and sustain a life. I said, this is absolutely wrong vision. Somebody sitting there in the room thought it out. They have not looked at the real person. Real person is an entrepreneur. Real person survived because of his creativity, because of the ideas that he or she has, and then it's basically entrepreneurship. So why don't we help them to remain an entrepreneur, become successful entrepreneur? Then I hit into the question that where is the money to do that? Finance becomes the real issue. And the entire financial system denies that facility. I said the finance is the oxygen of entrepreneurship. If you cannot bring this oxygen to people, people will always be sitting around and looking for a job because you have not given them the chance to use their entrepreneurship by bringing the oxygen to them. So I'm trying to provide that. Today, still I'm saying the same thing. All young people, wherever they are entrepreneurs. They should be prepared for their entrepreneurship in education system. And the financial system will be waiting with the money. So that as soon as you have an idea, here is the money. And at your terms, not my terms. And we give them their terms. And we create those kind of things. So this is where the essential thing is all about, the entrepreneurship, how to make them into entrepreneurs. So poverty is created by the system. That we have to accept and redesign the system.
Yeah, and like many of the people here today will join now the Max System competition. So you showed really how you digged into the problem, starting really looking at people. What suggestions would you have for the students and for the people entering the competition when they have to analyze problems? What suggestion would you have on how to identify a problem and how to identify really the causes and the factors which are important in understanding the system behind that problem?
Yeah, just I would say that as you see a problem like poverty is a global problem, and you want to solve that problem, you want to start saying how many people are poor, at what level of poverty, and all kinds of big things. That doesn't give you any solution. This is just you're defining a problem. What it is. Solution comes from individual. You take one of the poor person and focus on him or her. What is that missing? What will help the person to turn herself out into something else? If you're looking for at an unemployed young person, for example, he's looking for a job or she's looking for a job, there is no job. So this is your problem, unemployment. Why he or she is not getting a job? That will be the next question, because you are looking for one person. Until you find the answer for that one person, you have not found the answer for anybody. Today we say, no, give this money and create job. This investment will create 2,000 jobs. That investment will create 500 jobs. So you need more investment. So that's not an answer. You still just continuing to keep them as they are, and just to have their food on the table, enough to survive. So if you're looking for food on the table for survive, you're not solving the problem. You're simply taking care of the immediate problem, the immediate issue of the survival. Removing poverty is not about survival of the person in a day-to-day way. It's unleashing the energy of the person. Every person is packed with unlimited creative power. Human beings are the same. Once you take them off from the context, the societal context and so on, they're as creative as anybody else. Simply, society never gave them a chance to go in the direction that the people who crossed the border went to the other places, levels of income. They never had the chance. They never, the infrastructure built around them didn't give them a chance. So you build that infrastructure. So look at the unemployed young person, see what he or she is looking for. If you have solved the problem of one person, you have solved the problem of the millions and billions. All you have to do now is to repeat it. This repetition solves the massive problem. So you come back to the basic one element, single element that you have to do. And if you find it, repeat it for second one, repeat it for third one, see the varieties of things or the commonness of things. Then you got the picture. All you have to do is to now institutionalize it so that it's not raising a question anymore, because you found the formula, it will improve it. You keep on improving it because your knowledge, your experience will help you to get a more experience to make it more efficient. That's all. So it's not about going into bigger picture. So those who are designing those projects or ideas, just focus on one person.
And we've really seen how that happened with Grameen Bank, one woman after the other, and then impacting millions of lives of women.
Absolutely.
And how really Grameen Bank kind of like really made a counter system, like really created a counter system where poor people could not access credit. We have here a question: how can we change the economic system when some people in power would like the status quo to remain? And I guess you did find that problem also with Grameen Bank. So maybe I'm sure you can give great insights.
Yeah, I was referring to that when I was saying creating a new civilization. This kind of sums it up. I was saying this civilization is built on the concept of profit maximization. The essence of the entire civilization is profit maximization. So we are all rushing to make money. Everybody is rushed to make money. Everybody said that is your success. The more money you make, more successful you are. And you are supposed to make the maximum possible in every day. If you have done so much profit yesterday, you have to make more profit today, and tomorrow you have to make more profit. That's the direction. They said this is the efficiency of the system increases the more you make money and you're efficient, because you have a profit maximizing business running around all over the place. I said that is a path for destruction, because then you don't pay attention to anything. You don't pay attention to poverty. You don't pay attention to global warming. You keep on adding to this problem. You make this planet more warm, the temperature goes up because you don't care. You want to bring more fossil fuel, more plastic, more fashion industry, more anything. You want to make money. You don't care whether people live or people die, whether your children will have a life of themselves or your grandchildren will ever be born on this planet. How long will survive? You have no consideration whatsoever. So you cannot do that with that kind of focus. Profit maximizing. Profit maximizing civilization is a self-destructing civilization. So we are just waiting for our last breath on this planet. It's not very long now. It's maybe 10 years, maybe 20 years, maybe 50 years, maybe 100 years, but it is there. It's in the way. We are rushing towards that. Our train taking us is in a high-speed train going to the death and destruction of this planet. So should we continue in this train, or we build a new train to go in a different way? We can do that. It's up to us to decide. So we build new civilization. if this civilization is based on profit maximization, new civilization must be built on no profit at all, zero personal profit completely. Because you're not interested in profit, you're interested in life of the human being. So your whole civilization has to be built on the life of the civilization, life of the people, to have a life for everybody ensured, and there is no wealth concentration. Some people becoming extra super rich, and others remaining extreme poor people. That kind of system we don't have. So we deny profit maximization. We come to the zero personal profit. So that's the kind of system we will. That's where the beginning of what we now have been creating it, promoting it, called social business. Social business is exactly like that. This is a non-dividend company to solve human problem, because human beings are not just robots to make money. So we have lost the present civilization lost the humanity inside inside of the civilization. There is no humanity. Look at the vaccines. People are dying, but companies want to make money. They will not want to give away their patent right, because their patent right gives them the billions of dollars in profit and so on. So they couldn't care less whether people die or not. Their motto is a profit maximization. And their people will die. It's a very, very easy way to look at it. Death of the people, millions of people dies, and here you have a vaccine which you're holding on to it because you want to make money out of it. So this is the civilization that we have built, and this is a no-go civilization. There is no way we can survive in this civilization. So we have to transform ourselves into a new civilization, the civilization which will look at the humanity, because we are called human being, but without humanity. We became a robot under the present civilization, money-making robots. So we have to create a new civilization where we come as a human being, not as robots.